Hello, here's the news at this hour from Tstv. I'm Kende Durutilu. Here are some major headlines. In OKEHO, angry mob foil bank robbery set 3 suspected armed robbers ablaze. Federal government commits $1.17 billion to ECOWAS as community levy in 16 years. US withdraw 12,000 troops from Germany in strategic move. And in sports, WESTERHOF sues BONFRERE over allegations of match fixing. The news in details. 3 suspected armed robbery gang who stormed the bank at OKEHO in Kajala local government area of Oyo State on Wednesday met their Waterloo after they were set ablaze by an angry mob. According to a statement by the State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Binga Fadi, the armed robbers had stormed the bank at about 4:58 p.m. in a white 18-seater bus and entered the banking hall after using dynamite to blast the bank's security door. It also was reported that while the armed robbers were retreating, their vehicle had an accident and it somersaulted. Angry mob descended on the 3 suspected armed robbers after they attempted to escape from the scene of the accident, setting them ablaze. Meanwhile, the State Commissioner of Police, Joe Wachuku in Wonwu, after being informed of the incident, directed all police tactical teams, including Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS, Mobile Police Force PMF-72, and police personnel at OKEHO Area Command to go after other members of the gang who escaped in different directions. It will urge residents of the state to go about their normal businesses as the police are ready to deal with the activities of criminals during and after the festive season. Meanwhile, Oyo State Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde has explained that his administration's determination to fix the huge infrastructure deficit as well as get the state on the right track for economic growth was the motive behind the move to secure loans. The governor explained that in the revised 2020 budget, 65.2 billion naira has been earmarked for capital projects, while 108.9 billion naira is for the recurrent expenditure, stating that the state plans to pay a huge chunk of its recurrent expenditure through allocations from the Federation account and the state's internally generated revenue. He appreciated members of the Oyo State House of Assembly for reviewing the revised budget proposal in a timely manner and for approving the downward review, saying it is heartening that the 3 arms of government have continued to work harmoniously for the good of Oyo State. Meanwhile, the governor reiterated his administration's commitment to ensure an optimum performance of the budget, noting that the state will ensure that the 2020 revised budget is adequately funded by aiming at 70% performance. The federal government has paid over $1.17 billion to the economic community of West African states, ECOWAS, as its community levy contribution in the last 16 years. Nigeria's payment represents 40.42% of the total payment of $2.9 payment made by all the 15 member states and is higher than payments made by 12 other countries put together, except Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. Meanwhile, Nigeria had paid 64% of its payments, leaving an outstanding of 36%. It was reported according to documents from presentation by the ECOWAS Commission to Parliament at plenary during its virtual second extraordinary session that Nigeria paid 833,310,564 West Africa unit of account for the period under review, which is the authorized currency used in ECOWAS. President Muhammadu Buhari has advised Nigerians, especially Muslims, to observe this year's Eid al-Kabir celebrations with caution, heeding protective directives by state and local authorities. This is contained in a statement issued by the presidency on Wednesday. It said the president would observe the celebration privately with his family, adding that the usual Salah homage and visitation would not be entertained. Meanwhile, in order to stop the spread of the disease, the president, in a statement wishing Muslims a safe and happy Eid, reiterated the protocols as issued by health bodies that large gatherings should be discouraged as much as possible. He further urged Nigerians celebrating the Eid together that prayers should hold outdoors and worshippers are encouraged to bring their own prayer mats. On the foreign team, the US is set to withdraw almost 12,000 troops from Germany in what is described as a strategic repositioning of its forces in Europe. About 6,400 troops will be sent home, with the rest moved to other NATO countries such as Italy and Belgium. President Donald Trump said the move was a response to Germany failing to meet NATO targets on defense spending. President Trump has long complained that European members of NATO should spend more on their own defense, adding that NATO members should no longer be relying so heavily on the US to shoulder the costs of maintaining the alliance. Meanwhile, the decision was criticized by German officials, with the chairman of the country's Foreign Affairs Committee suggesting it would weaken the NATO alliance. It was reported that the move is set to cost the US government several $billion and will reduce the country's military presence in Germany by more than 25%. The US House of Representatives has ordered all members and staff to wear masks as the nation's death toll from coronavirus passed 115,000. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, a California Democrat, warned anyone who breaks the new rules faces being removed from the chamber. She took the decision after Louis Gohmert, a Texas Republican often seen around the Capitol without a face covering, tested positive on Wednesday. Mrs. Pelosi said on the House floor on Wednesday that she expects all members and staff to adhere to this requirement as a sign of respect for the health, safety, and well-being of others present in the chamber and surrounding areas. It was reported that failure to wear masks is a serious breach of decorum, warning the House Sergeant-at-Arms that anyone who did not wear a mask would be kicked out. To some sports news, two former Nigeria coaches, Clemens Westerhof and Johannes BONFRERE, are locked in a legal battle in faraway Holland over the allegations of match fixing during Nigeria's USA '94 World Cup campaign. Coach Westerhof has sued BONFRERE for defamation of character and is praying that the Rechtbank Gelderland High Court in Arnhem, Netherlands, should ask his former assistant BONFRERE to clear his name after BONFRERE, was quoted as having accused him of selling the match between Nigeria and Italy for $100,000. However, it has been reported that the case has been adjourned and the next hearing comes up in 2 weeks. Manchester City have signed teenage defender Issa Kabor from Belgian 4th Division club Mechelen Kabor. The 19-year-old Burkina Faso international will spend next season back at Mechelen on loan, having penned a 5-year contract at the Etihad Stadium. A fee has not been disclosed for the transfer, which remains subject to international clearance. With that, we've come to the end of the news. A recap of the headlines: in OKEHO, angry mob foil bank robbery, set 3 suspected armed robbers ablaze. Federal government commits $1.17 billion to ECOWAS as community levy in 16 years. US to withdraw 12,000 troops from Germany in strategic move. And in sports, Westerhof sues BONFRERE over allegations of match fixing. Please do not forget to always adhere to COVID-19 safety measures. The news was compiled by Amanda Aniele. I am Kende Durutilu. Good day, and thanks for watching.